just taking a poll out of all the people on here, how many have purchased the 10-day Find Your Unstoppable challenge? I'd love to know if you're actually going through it. But for those of you who have accessed that, go ahead, put in the chat if you have gotten that. For those of you who haven't, just put in I haven't gone through it or haven't purchased it or whatever. It'll kind of give me an idea of where you guys are at with the terminology that I'll be using for today's bonus session, and if I need to do some pre-teaching before diving in. But by the time we're done today, those of you who are looking to do aligning, which the whole point of aligning is if you have a goal and you want to attain it, aligning is one of the fastest, most effective ways to do that. And we want to allow you guys today to get a kickstart to see the power of it. Some of you have been doing it. Some of you have been going through it. Some of you might not have. Some of you just joined our list or whatever. But today, by the time we're done, I want to give you an overview, and I'm going to kind of keep this short for you guys because it's like how to do it really quick. So my goal is to be done 30 minutes to an hour or in between that time, and to answer all your questions, show you some of the technique, how to use it very quickly, so that when you're going through life, instead of just letting life happen, you can be a victor and actually create that life from happening. So many of our clients have been having amazing results. I just keep getting them every day, these Voxes and testimonials sent to us. For example, one person just found their ideal house. Another person was able to get rid of a severe back pain that was radiating down throughout the legs, and so much so that he couldn't even walk. We just had somebody else be able to find their next clients. We just had another person who is maxed out on their clientele now, all through the power of aligning. So whether it's your health, whether it's something in business, whether it's with more of a personal connection, or whether it's with a relationship, we want to go in today and show you how you can maximize your results in a fraction of the time. Cool? So if you're excited today, let me know. You can even unmute yourself. I love to hear voices. Or if you want to join on video up top, that's awesome. I love to see people. I love interacting. So my goal is to serve you guys, really over deliver, help you guys implement it and get some results. So I'd love to hear who's excited today, who's excited to learn how to align in a record time. Yes, let's hear it. Or you can even just put in the chat box. Katie says, me, sweet. All right. Very cool. So let's get started. There's a couple principles that we need to share for you to understand the power of aligning. Here they are. So first off, number one, and everybody see this okay? Yeah, I think so. Everything is energy. Now, what the heck does this mean? Well, it means that everything in your life, whatever you're doing, the stress, overwhelm, how much money is in our bank account or not, the symptoms that pop up in our body, the disconnections we have, or the connections, the relationship disconnections, or the relationships where we feel fulfilled, every single thing is what? Energy. Energy. It's a pattern of energy. So the patterns of energy I call frequencies. We're going to talk a little bit about frequencies and energies here, and everything is energy. So these people who we've been seeing just get incredible results, what happened is before they were actually aligning, they were on a certain frequency. Some of them were on the frequency of, oh, this life sucks, so, or it struggles, or I've tried everything and it doesn't work, or man, this is just difficult, or I've hit this threshold in my income level. Whatever their result is, it's a representation of the frequency or pattern of energy that they are on. So same for you. And I want you to take a poll in your life and just observe for a moment, where are you at right now? Where are you at financially? Is it something that's ideal? Is it something that's not ideal? Where are you at emotionally? Is it something that's like coming alive, you're thriving, it's exciting, or does it feel draining or burdened? Or are you feeling overwhelmed? Where are you at with your relationships? Are they coming alive? Are you creating new relationships daily? Or do you feel like you're just getting by, or maybe even just holding on with maybe like a pinky, right? Whichever where you are. But we want to take a poll because knowing where you are means we can change it. But if we don't acknowledge where we're at, it's very difficult to get where we want to go. So the first part of what we're going to teach you today is know where you are. Once you know where you are, then I'm going to take you on a journey very quickly of how to get where you're going. Cool? All right. So with that, know where you are financially, relationship. What about health? You know, we talked a little about energy, but what about health? Health-wise, are you coming alive? Do you feel sick? Do you feel like it's just like tired? Or the opposite, you know, are you tired, or do you feel like you wake up with lots of energy, excitement, you stay up, you go to sleep, like you sleeping good? Take a poll, kind of analyze, where am I at in my physical health? Is it ideal? Is it not ideal? Relationships, ideal, not ideal. Finances, ideal, not ideal. Everybody got it? Let me know if you've got it, if you've kind of taken a poll, if you can kind of analyze that and see it. That's very important for the next step. But we need to make sure that this is real so that you're not just listening and being like, oh, yeah, I did it. Because if you don't actually look at this, what's going to happen is we're not going to be to identify the fight flight responses that are holding on to those energies and keeping them there if we don't observe them. Most of us don't even observe them because we're afraid of them and we just ignore them. But I'm going to invite you to go there to actually observe where you're at. Maybe you've been thriving in all areas, but you've settled. Maybe you're like, oh man, I've kind of just settled in this area and I'm not really coming alive like I used to. Well, that is not ideal. We want to be able to change it. So everybody got it? Got it. Yes, yes. Okay, cool. Good. So know where you are. That's important. This is going to be like the steps over here. Know where you are. Okay. At least you need a poll. Is it ideal or not ideal? I like to even rate it 0 to 10, 10 being the most fulfilling, 0 being not at all, and try to get it to a 10. So if you want to go ahead and do that, you can in 4 categories: relationships, health, wealth, or money. And then also you can do like, I always like to do like personal connection with like spirituality. So relationships, health, wealth, and connection. Those are always great categories to check. Now, as we go into this, real quick backstory. As I was going into to learn how to align, I had been doing a lot of different tools. I'd put up my vision of what I wanted and I'd put it onto a vision board, and I'd wake up in the morning and I'd look at it and I'd voice it out loud and I'd give myself these like, I can create $10,000 in a month. I am going and traveling. I have an amazing family. And I'd see it on the wall and I'd voice it out loud. And I did that for a whole year. Not really seeing a ton of shifts or changes. I felt a little different, but my reality stayed the same. And it was very frustrating to maintain that level of intensity while not seeing results. So part of me felt a little bit down. Sometimes I didn't want to do it. And I started having these negative feelings attached to what I was looking at, even my goals, the desires, because it wasn't really happening. It was like getting my hopes up every time and then just watching them every day not occur. And I started to form these patterns where every time I looked at my vision and voiced it, logically, I wanted it to be real. I was like, I so want this to be real. Yet, emotionally and in my physical world, it wasn't. And I'd be like, I feel it's real. I feel it's there. And I was just like trying to believe it. But no matter how much I could believe logically, it just wasn't happening in my reality. And I got very frustrated. I went in circles for a long time wondering, okay, what do I need to do to actually see a change in my life? And as I started to go on that journey, I increased the passion, I increased the repetition until I started to see some momentum, but it took over a year of repetitious visualizing, meditation, getting to root causes. And although it worked, it was very time consuming. So I don't know about you, but as an entrepreneur, as a busy dad and having a wife and 3 kids, I like to have things work very quickly. Anyone concur? Like, how many in here like to have things work quickly and effectively? Like, it's done, you don't have to repeat it. Yes, is that the type of people that you are as well? Or are you one of those who are like, I like to just repeat things and take a long time? Hopefully, you're not that person, right? Usually, you're the one that's like, yes, I want to get my goal. I want to nail it. I'm tired of waiting. It should have been here a year ago, right? Oh, yes. Good. Sweet. So we want to attain our goals very quickly, Belinda. Heck yeah. I love it. Results are good. I love it. Love it. Thanks for interacting here, everybody. So as we went through that, fast forward, I got to a point where I was just done. I wanted results quick. And I found my wife struggling with her gluten allergy. And part of me just on this entrepreneurial journey, and I'd seen some great results, started speaking for Les Brown, Ted McGrath, speaking on stages, going in Canada, increased my income by 10x, like made over $100,000 in a year and started to do more and more and hit my first $1 million mark in 3 years, did all these things. But a lot of it was repetition, passion, intensity, good doing it over and over and over, sometimes 4 to 6 hours a day, just working on myself, working on my skills, working. And it was exhausting. I was getting so tired of how much effort I was putting in. And in my mind and body, it felt like I wasn't getting the equivalent of all the effort that I was putting in. It was like I was putting in all this effort and it was like, bloop, like this little bit of a result. And I was like, there's got to be a better way. So that better way happened when I realized that everything is energy. Everything is energy. And number two, the second part of this is that energy is stored in the body, not just in our mind, but it's actually in our body. And I know some of you know this already, but for you to align very quickly, we have to go over this. And then I'm going to show you intuitively how to pick what you want, align it in a fraction of the time so that you don't have to take forever or years to actually attain your goal. So yes, everything is energy. Energy is stored in the body. It's actually in our physical bodies, not just in our subconscious or in our conscious, but even in every cell of our body. A lot of people know it as cellular memory. However, they don't realize that that cellular memory is where energy is stored. And that energy is interpreted 3 different ways. They're interpreted as allergies, addictions, or alignments. Now, what do these mean? An allergy is a push response. So if I have something come into my life, whether it's a food or an ideal like opportunity coming my way, or a great relationship, or maybe it's that thing that's going to help me solve my health problem, it comes my way, but all of a sudden I reject it. I don't take action on it and I run from it. That is a fight-flight response that is stored in the body. And we label it as what? An allergy. Okay, so allergy is what? It's a push sensation. So when I have something I want, but I'm pushing it away, that's called an allergy. Got it? Okay, so allergy. Now, an addiction is the opposite. To every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So to every push, there's actually a pull. To every pull, there is a push. To every addiction or allergy, there's also an addiction. An addiction is an energy or an interpretation where I'm holding on to something that's not serving me. So an allergy, I'm pushing away something that I want. An addiction, I'm holding on to something that doesn't serve me. Is that making sense so far? If so, give me a big thumbs up down below, or like a got it. or yay, like makes sense. So allergy, pushing away what you want, addiction, holding on to what you don't want. A great example of this, one time my sister was going through, she was having car wrecks consistently, like almost every year, where she would drive, she would park, she'd literally be at a stoplight and somebody would just hit her like out of the blue. And she didn't realize that her body had actually become addicted to the responses that the car crash was creating. So every time she got into a car wreck, her body went on a super fight, like her adrenaline kicked on, fight, flight all the time, on guard, like starting to exhaust herself all the time. And every time she got in a vehicle, she was fearing that, which actually attracted it into her life. So part of her was actually addicted to car wrecks and the responses that the car wrecks were happening. Once she aligned, so an alignment is a state of peace. So where an allergy, so let's say I'm here. So if an allergy is holding on, so this is if an allergy is pushing away, okay? So if an allergic response and an addicted response is holding on, alignment is a place where you just are. It's a peaceful place where you can be at full cause in your life. So if I'm in a state of alignment, I no longer have an allergic or addicted response. And after my sister aligned, her complete fear went away of driving. She has yet to get in any car wreck, and she feels like she'll never have one again because her body had become so addicted to the responses, and her body, like, it caused her a lot of pain in her marriage, and she had to go to the chiropractor office. It cost her thousands of dollars because every time it would create whiplash. And then she couldn't be present with her kids. It was difficult to even cope. And she couldn't work out. It was affecting her health, which affected how she felt. So sometimes we don't even recognize how much an allergy and addiction affects us until we look at it. And for you, wherever you're at, that goal that we focused on, and it's like, okay, took a visual of saying, okay, here I am. Is it ideal or not? Knowing that if it's not ideal, you have some form of an allergy or an addiction that is holding on or pushing away, holding on to what you don't want, or pushing away what you don't want, or pushing away what you do want. Yeah? Or following that? Okay. All right. So I would love to know, what is your number one goal? What's the thing that you would like to attain over the next 90 days? Like if you set an intention and you're like, if I could really eliminate all the fight flight responses, get in complete alignment, no resistance, things work for me, what would I want to have happen in 90 days? What's your goal? Go ahead and put it in there. The more specific, the better. So general things are okay, but if you have very specific goals, that's even better. So go ahead and drop that in the chat. Your number one goal in 90 days. And if you're on the recording, write it down because it's going to be important for this to be tracked. So 90-day goal. And as you're doing that, I'm just going to review what we've covered so far. Number one, everything's energy. Number two, energy is stored in the body. Number three, energy is stored in the body as allergies, addictions, or alignments. And as you're in a state of alignment, it neutralizes the fight flight responses and helps you attain your goals in a matter of minutes or hours instead of taking years going in circles. So we've got a couple goals. We've got someone who said 40 pounds lost. Love it. Okay, who else? What other goals are you guys working on? If you don't have a goal, pick one or borrow one from a friend. But you have to have some sort of focus, because if that focus isn't there, then how will you know that you've attained it, right? So we've got Belin, make 10K a month. Love it. Micah, my health, I've had a lot of autoimmune disease over last year, taking steps in the right direction, but it's slow going and seems like it's seems to not be working as well as I'd like. Perfect. So yeah, with autoimmune disorders, so if you have a health goal, the way that I like to see it is, okay, if I didn't have that autoimmune disease, what would I do in 90 days? So let's say that thing's gone. What would I do? So the problem when we're in the problem is we only see up to the problem. But actually, part of the solution is looking above it and saying, actually, if I didn't have this symptom, or if I was out of this situation, here's what I would do. Here's how I would be. And knowing that will help you align to the thing that's going to get you the biggest result. Hopefully that makes sense there. And if you guys have questions, feel free to drop it here in the chat box. One person says, let go of childhood beliefs that no longer serve me. Good. Good. And again, similar principle. If I let go of childhood beliefs that didn't serve me, what would I do? What would I be? Or what would I feel? That's the type of goal that we want. We want to know, what would you do, have, or become? These are the three things that people want in life. We either want to do something, like maybe if I had all my autoimmune diseases gone, I would wake up at 7 a.m., come alive, work all the way till 11 p.m., and like serve the masses and spend time with my family. Like that would be the goal. So it's not just get out of the autoimmune disease, but if I got out of that, what would I do, right? If I lost the weight, what would that give me? If I gained that income, what would I create? What kind of impact would I make? What would I do? Also, you could look at it as, what would I have? Maybe there's something you want to purchase or to receive, or by your doing this, you can create and have in your life. Or what do you want to become? And becoming is a state of being. It's like I can have life happen and I move through it in a matter of seconds. Like back when I first started, I was super addicted to struggle. And I struggled financially. I struggled with depression, suicidal thoughts, pornography addictions, and I suffered a lot. And as I started to change these pieces, I wanted to become someone. I wanted to become a great dad. I wanted to become a great father. I wanted to become someone who could look into the eyes of another person and feel confident about myself. Whereas before, I didn't have confidence. I was the kid looking out on the bus and had one friend growing up. I was terrified of speaking in front of people. So I had to change because I was addicted and allergic to those things. And as I shifted these, then it could feel like it was my choice as I was in a state of alignment. All right. And that says a less stressful job with more income. Great. And even more specific, if you're like, great, so maybe the job, the more specific, the better. Again, there's the powers in the specifics, guys. So every single thing has a frequency. So if I think less stressful job, that's a frequency, versus job that makes me come alive where I work 4 hours a day and make $10,000 a month. That's a very specific frequency, different than the first frequency. So each frequency is based on the words that you're using. If I say more income versus $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, each one of those is a different frequency. So the more clear on what we want, the faster that will happen. Okay? Billin says, heck yeah, I want that frequency. Good. So that's the type of mentality. If you don't know if it, because again, when we're in it, it's hard to see it and say, I don't really get it. But we have to give ourselves permission just to kind of look above and say, well, what could be possible? Like if I could honestly create the life I want, regardless of my past, what would that be? And take a peek and then map that out, because that is going to be energy. And that energy, the only reason it's not happening is if some part of you is actually allergic to that very frequency or addicted to the opposite. And how do you shift it? You align. Is this helping everybody? So the power and specificity, guys. Like when I started off, I just wanted more money. I wanted to be happy. I didn't want to be addicted to my struggles. Like that's what I wanted, because I could only see here. And I stayed there because that's all the extent of my vision. But as I allowed myself to dream and to say, okay, what actually do I want? Like, why do I want those things? What do I want to do? What do I want to have? Who do I want to become? And I said, I want to buy my wife a grand piano. She's a concert pianist. And I was like, I want to buy her a grand piano. Then I thought, well, what do I want to do? I want to travel all over the world and speak on stages in front of thousands of people. Wait, okay, awesome. So who do I want to become? I want to become someone who, when walks in the room and shakes the hand of another person, just through shaking the hand, that person's life has changed. And it was this huge vision, whereas before I was so scared and so unsure that I didn't ever even look at these because of where I was. But part of the struggle was because I didn't allow myself to want something bigger. Because every time I set a goal, I failed. And setting goals represented failure, struggle. So I didn't want that energy. So I avoided goal setting because it hurt. It hurt because all it represented was pain, suffering, letdown. As we changed those, and as I focused on saying, actually, what if goals represented easy, a really powerful connection, something that grows me, something that makes me come alive, something that I attain and nail? Then all of a sudden I went from a place of struggling when I set a goal and dreading goal setting to loving setting goals, and very specific ones. Shauna says, so how do I align with it? That is the question. You guys ready to go there? So you got something specific that you want to learn, that you want to attain, do, have, or become? Yeah, if everybody does, we're going to go into the aligning part. First, you had to get really clear on it. Now we're actually going to get into how do you change it. So you guys ready for it? If so, let me know in the chat, or unmute yourself, because is anybody alive out there and super happy and like excited about
Heck yeah.
Okay, Belinda's like, yes, let's do this. Micah's yes. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover, and I'm going to show you a way to align. For those of you who have the 10-day challenge, I highly encourage you to go through that. For those of you who don't, if you want to explore longer term stuff at the end of this, I'm going to share with you next level things if you want. For now, I'm going to go into how to align. And this is what I call intuitive aligning. This is one I use usually almost every day. Okay. So I think if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you. I teach this to my clients. Some people pay me over $20,000. And one of the things that I do is teach them this very thing, is intuitive aligning. So here's how you do it. When you have your very specific thing, let me go ahead and erase this. So that very specific thing, let's take somebody's example. Does somebody have one that you want me to run you through and show you how to align? I always find it better just to show you guys. Who would like to do that? Just unmute yourself and let's do it. We got the HTTP if you want to unmute yourself. Do you know how to unmute yourself?
Who are you after?
The 8, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It just shows up HTTP.
Sorry, I'm new at this.
No worries. All right. What's your name?
Karen Hartle.
Karen, everybody give a virtual round of applause to Karen for volunteering. Thanks for being here. Okay, so Karen, what's your number one goal? We're going to write it out.
I don't know, this might sound dumb. I want to believe in myself. We grew up very poor and I have a hard time getting over that one.
Okay, so believe in yourself. I'll help you get real clear on this.
Thank you.
And if you believed in yourself, what would be the outcome that you want to have?
Confidence.
Confidence. So you have confidence, you believe in yourself, and is there anything
and
that
I have confidence to be able to get the job I really want and maybe do something like you're doing?
So you want to have the confidence to, would you like to coach? Is it helping people, empowering?
I would love to coach.
Okay, very cool. So,
but I have to get there first, you know?
Yeah, so this is part of it. So having the confidence to be able to coach people, impact people while making an income. Is that kind of the thing?
Yep.
So, and you're new to that space, so you haven't actually done any coaching or anything, but you'd love to be there. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So I have confidence actually, I would just do, I am confident. I am confident in my ability as a coach. And what would be a good benchmark for you, like your first amount of income to make? Would it be like 1, 2, 3,000 a month? Like what would feel good to be like, wow, like things are working?
2,000 a month to start with.
Great. So I am confident in my ability as a coach while making $2,000 a month. Okay. So this would be the statement that I would say. Now, in a full alignment, what you would actually do is go and redefine these words, because behind every single word, again, they're frequencies, right? So
Okay.
every single word your body is interpreting the moment it's spoken. Now, most often, the reason why it takes so long is because we're like running from this. We're like, confident, I don't know it, and blah, and it like goes on this whole excuse train of like, run away from that goal because that represents something that's unknown, and unknown is scary because I've gotten hurt when I was a kid, and blah, 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 story. And then we just don't take action. So instead of having that phenomena, what we can do is we could underline some of the key words that you would want to really get to where your body changes. So I is actually a really powerful one. I represents everything about your identity. So the moment you speak I, you'll have negative interpretations that your body has around yourself. No wonder why people are so fatigued and exhausted, because they're constantly creating themselves in a state of fight flight based on their past perceptions of all the words they're using. So that's why people get so frustrated and exhausted and burn out.
So that's like the pull and the pull and the push.
Yeah. So let's say I, this is my case. Me used to represent struggle, never make money, procrastinator, addicted, not good at relationships, horrible communicator. So I had all these past perceptions tied to myself.
So that's a lot of stuff to get past in one word.
Yeah, this is the power of aligning. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel and like find all the stories. In the full version, we just acknowledge it and we say, okay, cool. Here's the old representation. We label it. Here's the things that I've had in my past. Here's my ideal. I means powerful, capable, confident, willing, easy to change, super good looking, like whatever it is that you want to have that new definition tied behind that word. So now with that new definition and doing this intuitive alignment is going to get some really cool shifts. But in the full one, what you'll do is redefine that word and then redefine a couple words and then see how every single part of your body reacts to it and then align it, doing the tapping breathing process, which we're going to do. So I would do confident, ability as a coach, and making 2,000 a month. These 4 things have frequencies that probably have some not ideal definitions and experiences tied to them. So if you think confident, oh, what negative thoughts or interpretations pop up? I'm not confident. I struggle. I get pushed around. People talk over me, whatever it might be, right? So that is now tied to that word based on our past perceptions. So even though it's a positive word, our body might not interpret it that way, which is the power of why we do this, is so that you could be saying all the positive affirmations every day. But what you're doing is you're just creating chaos inside of your body with all the fight and flight responses. So people are like, be positive, be positive. It's like, you could be positive or negative. It doesn't matter. It's how your body interprets those positive or negatives. That's the key.
That's the key.
Okay. So I am confident as a coach. Maybe you have some negative associations around coach of like, I have to have a degree. I have to be certified. I have to have more education. I don't know how to do it. I'm unsure. I don't know where to get clients. Boom. That whole interpretation of coach. Perhaps you've even trained with a coach and maybe they manipulated or lied or you didn't get a result. So part of you might think, coach, let down, not working, doesn't actually work. No wonder you wouldn't have confidence as a coach if you had those associations, right? Ideal situation would be, hey, what if a coach was integritous, powerful, transformational? It's easy for me to do. It's people want to work with me as a coach. They just flock to me in the masses. Boom, new definition. Now, $2,000 a month. When I first looked at that back when I was struggling, that was twice what I was making. Like I made $1,200. The most I made was 12,000 in a year. So it was like 12,000 total. So it was like almost 1,000 a month. I think I made a little bit over like 13,000. So I made 1 month a little bit more. To me, 2,000 seemed, it's hard. It's a burden. I got to work hard. I have no time. I don't have the energy for it because I was a massage therapist. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, to double this is going to be hard. Like, this is tough. So the more I focused on it, the more my body fought it because of my perceptions. Until I changed it and said, what if 2,000 a month was simple? It was easy. It was fun. It was engaging. It didn't have to be hard work, but it had to be fun work. And as I changed that, the next year was when I went to 10,000 a month. And so this, when you say this, now with that idea of the new definitions that we're aligning to, we're going to do what's called an intuitive alignment. So this is where when you voice it, it's kind of like taking the full version, which goes into over 500 different things that you check. And it's taking it, condensing it. But the key here is you've got to be in tune. You got to feel it. The other one is made for people like me. And it's just like, I just don't know. Just do it and like figure it out. But this one, it does take a little bit more presence, but it's a lot faster. Okay. And you can still see some really powerful results. Here's how you do this. So when you think of this statement, rate it 0 to 10. And everybody do the same with yours. 10 being the most real, like this is so real to you. 0 being this is a big fat lie, like no chance on earth that this is going to happen. Like rate that right now. Where would you put it?
A 6.
So a 6. So it's pretty high after we talked about it. Maybe before we talked about it, what was it?
A 3.
3. Yeah. So notice how even just doing what we did, which is called redefining definitions, raises your ability to create because now you're actually identifying the fight flight responses, which is so cool. Now let's actually change those ones that are stuck. So if it was a 3, now it's a 6, we want to get it to a 10, like unshakable confidence of like, this is so real. I'm going to do what it takes. I learn the skills and I go implement it tomorrow. That type of confidence. So here's how you do it. Okay. Everybody got yours. Everybody rated yourself on your goal. Hopefully this helped kind of going through this. Everybody rate your goal. 10 is the best, like ideal. You're going to get it. 0 being this is so not real, like totally fake, made up. Okay. And here's what I do. I will voice this out loud. Like if I'm you, I would say, and I'd focus on the words. Be present while you're speaking these. Allow your body to actually have the negative responses come up. Don't ignore it and don't just tune it out. Let it come up. So I am confident in my ability as a coach while making $2,000 a month. Now, with every word, you're going to feel, some of us might not be in tune to it, but that's okay. It takes some practice, this intuitive alignment. You're going to feel something inside of you. Might be a little tension, might be some like thoughts in your head of like, I can't do that. It might be some tension found somewhere in your body. You're going to tap that tension. And even if you can't find it, just tap it, tap where it might be. Okay. It'll help your body train where it's at. So you're going to tap it. Okay. So go ahead and voice it out loud for me.
I am confident. Oh, I felt that one. In my ability as a coach while making $2,000 a month.
Very cool. Tap where you felt the resistance, wherever it was.
Okay.
Found it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now tap there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tap on the forehead and go down to the back of the spine here and breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth with each tap. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. 3 times in a row. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now we're going to pant like a dog while still tapping. 3 times, and then you're going to smile. Okay. Now, what we just did is by voicing it, you're creating those fight flight responses immediately. As you're doing the alignment, the breath work, what you're doing is you're stopping your chemical responses that are signaling run from this or hide from this or like fight it. So it's sending the signal to the brain, like from the body, and saying like run, turn off, all this negative stuff. But the moment you start to tap, you're providing communication, connection to that spot where it's actually stored. And doing this pattern is like dropping a rock. So imagine you have a big boulder and you throw it into a pond, makes a big ripple. The ripple is like the fight flight responses of the phrase. But what we're doing is we're dropping tons of little ripples around it, which neutralizes it. And now you can be at cause. You can choose without your body responding. And you're like, actually, I can have this as my choice, not based on my past perceptions. It's such an amazing process. So you do this a couple rounds. So you'd voice it again. So let's do it a couple times just so you can get it. So go ahead and voice it one more time.
I am confident in my ability as a coach while making $2,000 a month.
Good. Now,
That's
as you're
it, right?
speaking it, good. So tap it, go ahead and align. 3 times. I don't know if that was 3 or 4. And then smile. Okay. So you could do that 2, 3, 4 times. Now, what you'll do after you chase that feeling a couple rounds, you'll say it again. And now you'll go at, so we want to hit 2 ways. We want to hit it at the body level. So that's what we're doing now. But we also want to hit it in the conscious or subconscious, which are the negative thinking processes that pop up. So as you're doing this, you might have doubts or limitations pop up. So it's like, oh, that's too much, or I've never really done that before. So you actually just voice those out loud. So it's like, let's say I'm saying this, I am confident, and my body and my brain's like, no, you're not. Like, you're a little pansy or you're scared, right? So whatever it's saying, I'm actually going to voice those. And anywhere I feel it, I'll tap it and then align it. So I'll say, let's say I'm like, I am confident. And then boom, thought comes. No, you're not. Great. No, I'm not. Tap where I feel it. And smile. And what we just did, we caught the fight flight response associated with the word, neutralized it, and then we're going to say it again. I am and it's gone now. It won't come back in that same form. So it might be another phrase or it might come in a different place, but it's so powerful. Like what you're doing, oh my gosh. You could stand at a vision board, look at it for a whole year, morning and night, and you wouldn't get as much results as doing this. You could also look for trapped emotions. Those would help. But the key is it might not be a trapped emotion. It might just be a response to the thing. It's not trapped, it's just the response. And your body doesn't know that it's something that's trapped. It's just how it is. It's the truth of it. So instead of looking for what's stuck or what's trapped or what's wrong, we simply say, cool, this is what I want. Any resistance that comes in me is either an allergy or an addiction. I pinpoint where it is. I align it. I'm done. Next thing, move on. It's so amazing. So curious, just doing what we did. Now think about it. Where would you put it now?
A 7.
Yeah.
A 7 kind of inches way out.
Good. So a good question to ask is, what's keeping it from a 10?
I guess I need to go through the whole thing you're talking about and just keep working on it. And I think that's what the key is.
Great. So let's just say that. Let's just say that. It's just an excuse. So I feel like it has to be a big process and I have to take forever and I'm unsure that it'll really work.
Maybe that's it.
Do that. That's an addiction.
I feel like it's a long drawn out process.
Yep. So I have to go through the long drawn out process. It has to be hard. I won't be able to do it. Tap where you feel it.
Okay, right on my rib. All of a sudden, it really hurt.
Good. And then align.
Okay.
And smile. Cool, huh?
Yeah.
Super cool. And remind me of your name again.
Karen.
Karen. Everybody give Karen a huge round of applause for volunteering. That was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing and participating. That was awesome. So
Thank you.
is everyone seeing how to do the intuitive version of the abundance alignment technique? Is this making sense, what we just did? Were you able to follow along and do it on yourself? I'm curious. I know I was doing it with Karen. Did that help me taking her through that? Like, were you able to actually follow along and do it on your own stuff? Tanya, great job, Karen. Yeah, thanks, Tanya. So I would love some feedback on that. Was that helpful? Did you guys get it? Because I really want to make sure that you catch that, because this is, yes, that was helpful. Okay, good. Yes. Awesome. Okay. Very, very cool. I was trying, but went so fast. Yeah, I know. I was trying to be really quick today, and I wanted to be under an hour. So for this will be recorded. I can get this to you guys so you can review it. Now, I did want to check and double see, is anyone interested in learning the full version and going in depth and actually like mastering it at every cell of your body? If so, I have a couple things that we're doing. One is I just unraveled a whole new program that's individualized with me. And then another is more of a group dynamic where you can learn it at your own pace, get coaching, figure out the phrases, go into the in-depth on redefining how to pinpoint exactly where it is, how to change it in a matter of seconds. Is anyone interested if I go over kind of what that would look like? I'm not going to make any official offers today, but if you want to see what it would look like and want to have a consultation, the consultation's free for those who are interested. But I did want to just check to see if anybody was wanting some help, some guidance to fast track this. Anybody out there who would like that? If so, then I'll share some of the details. If so, just drop in the comments, let me know. Absolutely. Okay. Yes, please share. Okay, cool. So here's some of the details of what we do. One is a 10-day challenge. It's kind of like an intro piece, and that teaches you a power alignment, similar to what we just did, but it's like a power alignment. So it gets into some organs and glands and some parts. Now, the next level is to learn the full alignment technique. That is amazing, especially if somebody really wants to master themselves. And what it looks like is we have a whole program that you can go through. I call it Abundance Alignment System, where people go through, they learn online. So you actually go through all the modules. They're recorded. You have access to it forever. You go through, there's about 4 courses. The first course is on the alignment process itself, why it works, how to align every single part of you. There's like a whole 16-page document that you can go through. Sounds like a lot of work, but here's the thing. Most people put in so much hard work working hard that they don't stop to take the time to work smarter. I'm all about, if I take 2 hours or an hour out of my life to recenter, refocus, realign, and go for it, then everything's going to be so much more effective. So this is made for people who are wanting to be more effective, wanting to get faster results. You do have to go through the course. You have to get the information and use it. But by doing so, it's going to free up hours of personal development, hours of struggle, and it'll save you thousands of dollars in the long run. So that's the first option, where you have, it's a group dynamic. You go through the whole online course. Then you get 3 months of group coaching with me. And that's where I help you come up with your statements. That's where I'm really good. The power's in the statement. So if you have a statement that you're needing help with to figure out what exactly is going to get me the fastest result possible, that's where my expertise comes in, after working on thousands of people, to pinpoint, based on what you're saying, here's the best phrase to use so that you can get the maximum results possible. So you get 3 months of group coaching, you get the online courses, and we do weekly alignments every week together on all sorts of topics. Plus you get all of the pre-recorded ones, which are like on success, money, relationships, ideal jobs, clients, acquiring clients, having immune systems function at optimal levels. Like we have over 50 alignments that are available for you. And you can just watch, follow, and align. You're done. So literally over $10,000 worth of stuff. So that's our group one. It's not $10,000. It's not even $5,000. So that's a group dynamic. If you are interested in that, I'll show you how to reach out and book a consult, and I'll show you what it looks like. With that, if you do want to be a coach, I actually have a whole nother program that I give as a bonus called Impact to Income, which teaches you how to find your message, how to package it, how to find clients, and enroll people for $1,000 to $2,000 a month. So it's a really powerful process. We've had clients make $6,000 in a week, stay-at-home moms. We've had people, I had one lady make $40,000 in a month when she was on food stamps, fixing to go on food stamps after transitioning. So it's a combo, skills and alignment. If you don't want the skills, it's just a bonus. So that's the group dynamic abundance alignment system. Okay, that's an option. The other option is really cool. I'm actually launching this. So I used to do things, I still do them, where it's like $20,000 to work with me over the course of 6 months to a year. We dive deep immediately, find out everything, switch stuff. It's amazing. However, I'm looking for 3 people, whether it's here or in the group. I had a lot of people reach out today. And what I'm going to be doing is, it's where we do a deep dive, a 3-hour analysis to figure out your fight, flight responses and the patterns of your life, where then I'll map out all of the different alignments that we need to do. And over a 90-day period, we'll be doing alignments every other week. So you'll get an actual full alignment every other week for 90 days. It's freaking awesome. It's amazing. Plus all the coaching, all the group stuff, learning the technique. And you'll be meeting with me every other week as well, 30 minutes at a chunk, to hone in on your skills, practice what you need to do, make sure you're actually aligning the right things. So I'm incorporating some of my certified practitioners, and they're going to be working with me to where I'm going to lay out your whole plan. Then for 90 days, the goal is, can you attain your goal in 90 days or less? And that's going to be amazing. I literally have charged like $20,000 for this stuff. I'm not even charging $10,000 for it. So if you would like a consult to explore whether it's the group one or the one-on-one deep dive, then here's how to do so. Okay. I'm only taking a couple spaces for this because I am really busy. I just wrote my book. We've been doing so many things, but I really wanted to do this and see 3 people just crush it out. So if you are interested, whether in the group or the group dynamic or the one-on-one, and you're willing to invest money, you're willing to invest time, and you're willing to work and put in the effort, then here's what you do. You're going to email Tyler at Abundance Masters. Wow, I'm going all over the place. .com. Okay, so Tyler at abundancemasters.com. I'll put it in here in the chat. And you're going to let me know if you're interested in the group or the one-on-one. I'll reach out to schedule a time. It'll have to be next week because we're going to Nauvoo for today's my birthday and we're going to go celebrate it. So that's super awesome. And so I'll be out for the next 6 days, but we'll be back on Monday. If you are interested, you're going to email Tyler at abundancemasters.com. Here's the thing. You must be willing to invest energy, time, and money to attain your goal. So you have to see the value in this. We're going to talk about it. Doesn't mean it'll be a fit or not, but at least in the consultation, what I'll do is I'll go over your vision, help you see what it is that you're missing, help you see why or if it would be worth it. And then if it is, we'll get you plugged in, whether it's in the group or in the one-on-one. Okay. So those are over $1,000, like each one of those, but they're not like so astronomically expensive. You know, I've spent $35,000 on the stuff that you guys are getting, and it's all under 10 grand. So if that's something that you're like, man, I'd really love to amp up my life. I would love to make an extra income. Even if you just started to bring in some cash flow as a coach, make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, you'd make back your investment within 1 to 2 months, which is super huge. But you do have to want it. So here's the thing. If you're wanting to be saved, not a good fit. Okay. What that means is, like, if you want me to do all the work and you're not going to do it your part, that's not going to work. You have got to desire your goal. Like, what are the things that you want to have, do, or become? And if you want to have, do, or become, and you're like, wow, I know I'm on track, but things are taking longer than they need to be. And you can see that that time is what's most important. Like, if it's taking you 6 months to attain your goal and you could do that in 3 months, would it be worth it to you to explore and find out if this can help you or not? It would, wouldn't it? So that's what we are looking for people who value time and are high achievers, ready to actually get results in a matter of days instead of years. So if you are interested in that, you're going to email Tyler at, I think I put it in here, abundancemasters.com. There you go. Tyler at abundancemasters.com. Just put in your name. So it's like, hey, Tyler, this is so-and-so. I'm interested in a consult and I'm looking more toward the group, or I'm looking more toward the one-on-one. Either way, in the consultation, we'll show you both programs, what they look like. But the goal is it something that you could use that you're going to 10x the value of whatever you invest? So that's my ultimate goal. Like, whatever you invest, I'm looking for you to 10x that as you're working with us. Because if not, then I haven't done my due diligence and what we're doing isn't actually beneficial. So my goal is to over deliver, give you everything you need to succeed and beyond. Okay. So if you are interested in any of those, email me. What I'll do is I'll take those emails. I'll email you back. Please just be honest, and, like, if you're going to email me, let's schedule a time, because I want you to honor your time. I'll honor my time. And that way, if we set a time, let's meet. We'll go over Zoom. I'll go over your big vision, what you're creating, what's off. Then based on that, I'll share with you some of the packages and how you could implement it to attain your goals and what that path would look like. And if it makes sense, we'll get you plugged in and you'll be on your way and you could nail your goals really quick. Okay. So I'm super stoked for it. It's going to be super awesome, especially the 3 who are going to do the one-on-one. I only have 3 spots that I'm going to open it up to. Again, normally I was charging $20,000 for the one-on-one stuff. I'm taking 3 through beta because I wanted to go through and implement every week on alignment with them, so that they're constantly changing. And then I'm teaching the skills of whatever they're needing to focus on. So it'll be like a hybrid where you're going to learn skills and implement aligning so that you can truly become unstoppable within weeks. I'm super stoked for it. So we're going to take 3 people who are actually going to succeed. And if you're one of those people, or you want to be one of those people, email me, Tyler at abundancemasters.com, and we'll see if it's a fit. Cool. All right. So questions on anything that we've done so far, anything that we've covered, or anything up to this point. I'm here for a few more minutes if you want to roll through anything. Otherwise, we'll call it a day, and I look forward to reaching out to you guys and having some good connections and conversations. So anything that you guys need help with talking about what we just went over, like the alignment process or anything with the consultation, now's the time. If you're good, give me a big thumbs up and be like, I think it's pretty clear. If so, I want to share one story. Man, when I was in a place struggling, there was a time where I was at this guy's stage, and he was offering something. And at the time it was like $5,400. That was half my annual income. It was this thing to learn how to speak from stages. And that was it, just to speak. And I felt very led, like, this is the missing piece. This is the thing that I needed. So I didn't have the money, and I thought, oh my gosh, like, I want it so bad. And this was a very powerful experience for me, because in that moment, as I was listening to this guy, he was like going on about how it's going to change your life, and you're going to speak, and you're going to influence people. And I felt like, yes, this is my next piece. But then my mind said, when you have the money. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, this is hard to come up with. Like, I am not going to make it. And as I thought about this, the thought came to me, who are you going to serve? Money or me? And in that moment, when I heard that voice, I believe it was my higher power speaking to me, and I'm really grateful it was, because in that moment, I was allowing the perception of money, what something was going to cost me, to stop me from actually taking action. And I was such a victim to money because my lack of it, that I didn't even trust my intuition and my higher power guiding me to what I needed to do. So I had this internal dialogue, and it was really weird. Everybody was like, yay, clapping and stuff. And I was having like this breakdown. I was like, oh my gosh, I really need this, but I don't have the funds. I don't have the money. And the thought, who are you going to serve? Money or me? And it hit me, my whole life, I had been basing all my decisions off of the amount of money in my bank account or not. And when an opportunity came, I let my allergic response to the idea of success, the cost, stop me. So I continued the cycle of destruction, trying to solve it myself. And I'm so grateful for that thought, because that thought led me to make a decision that changed the course of my life. I decided that day I was never going to be a victim to money again, meaning let money decide my choice. I was going to allow a higher power, a bigger purpose to choose. And in that moment, it said, you need to do this. So I was like, okay. So I didn't know how. So I called people, and I literally was like, hey, can I borrow this? I borrow this. I've got this thing. And I never asked for money. I had to do things differently to create something different in my life. And as I did that, that was the first investment I made. I found somebody who and some of them were like, are you like at that thing that they're selling stuff from stage? Like, we're not going to support that. And I was like, okay, thanks. Love you. Talk to somebody else. And I didn't let rejection stop me. I was so scared to be rejected, so scared to be in debt, so scared to be in all these situations because of my definitions to them, that I had this fear around money, and money dictated my choices, not my higher power. Even as much as I wanted to admit that, yes, I follow my higher power, at the end, when it actually came to it, I didn't. And that was the defining point in my life where I said, okay, never again am I going to let money stop me from my mission on this planet. Am I going to die and one day go back to my higher power, who I believe there is, whether you believe one or not, and look at him and say, I couldn't do it. I didn't have the funds. And I think back to the stories, and I'm a Christian person, and I believe, like, if God can say, if Christ can say, hey, go throw the net and catch that fish, open it up, and you got your money. I was like, well, why can't you do that for me? Like, if I make a decision to do something that I know is good and gonna transform my life, what's possible? Everything's possible. But if I don't have the faith and I lead with fear, then I stay stuck. So I chose that day not to be a victim to money, and I went forward with that program. With that, fast forward, and I was still struggling. Like, I didn't learn how to make money. I was still allergic to selling and allergic to having money come my way. So another opportunity came for like $2,400. And I was like, how many times do I got to do this? Yet the same voice. Who are you going to serve? I know many of you have done lots of programs. You've been through a lot of things. But if you are here listening to this, it's because there is something inside of you that know that there is a faster, more effective, longer lasting way. And if it resonates with you and you're willing to go through the time, the energy to see if it's a fit, confront those fears, be able to master yourself, whether it's in your health, your finances, your higher connection, or with your relationships. If you can see value in taking time to have a consultation, explore what you need to do, and do whatever it takes to go take action, then book a consultation, send an email at tyler@abundancemasters.com. And if you can put the subject of, just put in, I'm interested. Okay, put in the subject, I'm interested, send that to me. I'll reach back out to you. We'll find a time. We'll make it happen over the next week, and we'll see how and if we can serve you. I just want to thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for taking time to align. And remember, the next time you have resistance in your life, everything's energy. Number 2, energy is stored as allergies and addictions, or that's stored in your body, and it's stored as allergies and addictions. And the key is to align. So take time, align, really make that happen. And for those of you who feel inspired and are going to keep that fire burning, and you want to get faster momentum, see people get results like Eric, who doubled his income after aligning, literally made $30,000 in a month, to Bill, who maxed out on his clientele in a week after aligning to having clients come in, to Marin, who made her first $6,000 being pregnant and with like 3 or 4 kids, made her first $6,000 as a coach in 1 week. So if you're like, oh man, I've tried so many things, but will this work? Well, only way to find out is feel what you feel right now, send an email, let's explore and get you some results. Okay, whether you want the group or the one-on-one, I look forward. If you don't want anything, that's totally cool. I just loved you guys being here. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks for taking the time to align, because that's what it's all about. Thanks again. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you next time.